2072. Handbasket still in motion. Since the turn of the century, the world has changed in unimaginable ways. The mystical energies of the universe have been steadily rising in power and concentration, bringing magic back to the world. The awakening. Elves, dwarfs, orcs, and trolls have assumed their true forms, throwing off their human guises. Creatures of the wild have changed as well, transforming into beasts of myth and legend. The many traditions of magic have returned. Magicians from all walks of life have carved out a place for themselves in a new world. Though many aspects of the awakening remain mysterious, modern society has learned much about the workings of magic and how to harness it as a force just as important as technology. The decades that followed the awakening were years of panic and turmoil, as the four horsemen of the apocalypse seemed to race across the earth. Cultures that had never lost touch with their mystic heritage used magic in uprisings against the nations that had suppressed them for centuries. The vast global telecommunications network collapsed under an assault by a mysterious computer virus. Dragons soared into the skies. Epidemics and famines ravaged the world's population. Clashes between newly awakened races and the rest of humanity became common. All central authority crumbled, and the world began to spiral downward into the abyss. But man and his kin are hardy animals. Out of the devastation and chaos, a fragile new social order slowly emerged. Advanced simulated sensorium, Simpsons technology, helped eradicate the last vestiges of the computer virus. Amerindians, elves, orcs, trolls, and dwarfs formed new nations. Where environmental degradation and pollution have made many areas uninhabitable, eco-groups wage war on polluters, and awakened powers use incredible magic to heal the earth. Central governments have balkanized into smaller nations and city-states, as fear of the world's changes drives wedges between people of different backgrounds. Vast metropolitan sprawls known as metroplexes cover the landscape. These urban jungles swallow whole regions. Police departments, unable to contain crime waves and civil unrest, have been privatized or had their work contracted out to corporations. Megacorporations are the new world superpowers, a law unto themselves. The entire planet speaks their language. The new yen is the global monetary standard, and the highest court in the world is the corporate court, made up of members of the top 10 megacorporations. The megacorps play a deadly game, paying pawns in the shadows to help them get an edge on the competition. Meanwhile, corporate executives and wage slaves hole up in their own enclaves, safe behind layers of security and indoctrination. Outside the walls of these arcologies and gated communities, whole stretches of the sprawls have become ungovernable. Gangs rule the streets. The forgotten masses grow, lacking even a system identification number, a SEN, to give them any rights. These outcasts, dissidents, and rebels live as the dregs of society, squatting in long-abandoned buildings, surviving through crime and predatory instincts. Many of them attempt to escape their miserable existences by slotting addictive better-than-life BTL chips, living vicariously through someone else's senses. Others band together, some for survival, and some to gain their own twisted forms of power. Technology, too, has changed people. No longer content with the limitations of flesh, many have turned to the artificial enhancements of cyberware to make themselves more than human, stronger, faster, smarter. Others prefer more natural enhancements, augmented organs grown in clinic vats, bioware. Still, others deck themselves out in powerful and wearable computing equipment and manipulate the matrix or vehicles as if the optical chips and run-flat tires were parts of their own body. In the harsh reality of 2070, where profit is the most important mistress, the bigger the metroplex, the deeper the shadows. In the cracks between the giant corporate structures, criminals of all shades find their homes. When the megacorps want a job done but don't want to dirty their hands, they turn to the only people who can pull it off, Shadowrunners, deniable assets. Though only the blackest of governmental or corporate databases will even register a Shadowrunner's involvement with a corporation. The demand for his or her services is high. Hackers slide like whispers through the databases of giant corporations, spiriting away the only thing of real value, information. Street samurai are enforcers for hire whose combat skills and reflexes make them the ultimate urban predators. Riggers manipulate vehicles and drones for a variety of purposes. Magicians, those rare folk who possess the gift of wielding and shaping the magical energies that now permeate the earth, are sought after to spy on competitors, sling spells against an enemy, commit magical sabotage, and for any other service that their employers can dream up. All these individuals sell their skills to survive, taking on tasks too dangerous for others. Many of them illegal, all of them unsavory. Welcome to the dark side of the future, pal. It's gonna be a hell of a ride. Welcome to the introductory video for the next tabletop game I will be playing, Shadowrun 4th Edition. That's right, folks. I'll be playing it, and because I'm a player, I'll be recording not just audio content, but video as well. This has only been in the works for 3 Mondays now, when Sean Reaperoa, who played Joseph Chung in the Vampire the Masquerade game, asked the rest of the group whether they wanted to play Shadowrun 4th Edition. He wanted to GM that. He wanted to see if any of us would be players. Aaron, who played David Green, as well as Jermaine Wallace in the VTM game, said, sure. Cribson, or Dave, who played Byron Rand in the VTM game, said, sure. I don't know what I'm doing because I've never played any of it, but why not? I said, sure. I was the GM of the VTM game. Never played Shadowrun 4th Edition. I played 3rd a little. And of course I have some familiarity with the lore. And then Jordan, who played as Marcus Paulson and who broadcast most of the sessions of VTM live on his Twitch account, said, sure. Long story short, we actually all got up together. And the group has retained its continuity, even though we're playing an entirely different system. And so this is where much of my free time the past days has gone. Instead of recording videos, I've been learning an entirely new system and creating a character. We just had our first session this past Saturday. And I wanted to record this video sometime or another when I had energy and before I uploaded the first video of the session as a way to bring people into the game. If you're unfamiliar with the rules, if you're unfamiliar with the setting, if you're unfamiliar with the system, that's okay. I mean, this past session was the first time I ever played the game, the first time Critson played the game. Aaron and Jordan have some experience. I think Sean has the most. It was a system he wanted to GM. So, yeah. There's that. It's a thing. It's not as much of a problem. There's going to be some opening intro types of talks, which Sean basically provides a brief introduction reminder in the Shadowrun system, and I think it's something that you guys can just pick up as you go. This video is primarily intending to serve to provide some introduction flavor, which I might include before this or at the end of this video. I'm not sure. We'll see how future Grimith feels. And also to introduce the characters, so that you guys have some sense, and it gives me room to talk and explain the world a bit. Okay, so you have, we'll start with Aaron's character. He's playing as Twitch, an elf. I suppose you'd call her a fighter. She's, really a jack of all trades, a former Bunraku doll and assassin who, by mere fluke, managed to escape the clutches of the Mafia. However, she still owes quite a sum of cash to them, and she is built to fight. She has a wide variety of skills, nothing that she's particularly good at, but her cyberware, because she is augmented with cyberware as well as bioware, have made it to the extent where she is a capable fighter, who is basically struggling to make ends meet and slowly paying off her massive debt to the Mafia. It's a thing. I don't have the most accurate and up-to-date character sheets for these individuals. It's basically what they send. I'm not the GM, so I'm not worried about it, but it's a thing. Jordan is playing Vice, who is an orc physical adept. Physical adepts are awakened slightly. What they really have, though, is the gift of converting their magical powers into punching people in the face. And Vice, that's what he does. He's an orc, he's not that intelligent, he's not that mentally resilient. He does have a dependent, his mother, who he's working to support. And he punches people. It's a thing that he does. He serves as muscle. Very, very scary muscle, but muscle all the same. You have Crimson, who's playing as Coyote, a dwarf rigger who's actually the oldest of the group. Born in the Confederate American States. And he's currently in California, which, by the way, yes, not exactly California. This game is taking place in Los Angeles, the City of Angels. Not your standard Shadowrun setting, usually that's Seattle, which is under the control of the United Canadian and American States. In the 4th edition, Los Angeles is controlled by the Pueblo Corporate Council, which is a Nan nation, a Native American nation. And they have different rules, different guidelines, different problems and issues. And Los Angeles itself is actually a corporate enclave. Majority of it is under the control of a mega corporation, AAA, known as Horizon, which is significantly responsible for the new wireless matrix and the wireless network that came out after the second Matrix crash. Whatever. Anyway, that's what Coyote is. He has a lot of drones, he has vehicles, he is the wheelman, and he substitute as a hacking character, because we don't have one. And then my character is Truesayer, which was built off some Shadowrun 3rd edition templates I designed, back when I thought I might be running a Shadowrun 3rd edition campaign, before Sean pitched his idea to the rest of the VTM group after we stopped playing VTM. I am an awakened magician. I don't specialize in combat. My primary specialties happen to be in sort of truth extraction, as well as infiltration. I have spent so much time on this character over the past 2 weeks, constantly building him, rebuilding him, decompiling him, trying to get a sense of the rules and what I wanted to do with the character, and basically how I felt. And ultimately it came up with this. I had so many different positive qualities and negative qualities, it's all changed so much. He essentially serves as the character as a face, basically a frontman who can handle negotiations, in addition to casting magic. Of course, he has some split dice pools, but I've built him so that he's fairly competent and capable, at least at the start, or at least I think so, not having played the game before. He's got a very secure and awesome warehouse where he does his work. He's wearing some sweet-ass clothes that are very fashionable and expensive. Got all sorts of cool things, and I have a motorcycle for my ride. I've put a lot of work into the background description. I definitely have room for more background. Essentially, this character has been living on his own for the past 9 years. Once his parents had discovered that he was in fact awakened, they basically booted his ass out. And he scraped together what little new unit he could. He moved to Seattle, where he began to work on refining his magic. The Awakened are very rare, and as such, they're universally welcome in the shadows. Not universally, but at least they have much easier time getting jobs, because of how rare magic is. And eventually that got him to doing jobs for Mr. Johnson, whose client was Lone Star. Did a lot of jobs for a while, and then essentially got burned by Lone Star. They attempted to kill him. He moved to LA. They eventually found him, and essentially rather than try to kill him outright, they're like, alright, just pay us some money with interest. And that's why my character's in debt. I used to have, I had a common allergy to seawater, sensitive neural structure that would make cyberware more intensive on my character. It's irrelevant for the purposes of the intro video. What matters is that my character is a person. He's a thing. He has a real sin, which is really uncommon for Shadowrunners, particularly after the second Matrix crash. Whatever. So there's a basic intro to the characters. This is going to be a thing. I don't know how long we're going to be doing this thing, but all the same, it's a thing. Shadowrun 4th edition. I will be recording everything. Don't think Jordan's going to be streaming this, but whatever. Get fucked. And if you like tabletops, you can come along for the ride. If you don't, it's fine. I do other things too. This is one of my hobbies, and it's not inconvenient for me to record it and share it, because some people enjoy watching it. So as long as it's not inconvenient for me, I do it all the same. Alright? Well, it takes care of the intro. By the way, Chummer, amazing fucking program for generating Shadowrun 4th edition characters.